Krista, is everybody? No, almost.
I'm sorry, I'm just talking away to you and I'm muted.
Okay.
Um,
E-
yes, everybody should be here now. Yes.
Everybody's back. And do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. All right. All right. Welcome, everyone. My pleasure to call this meeting to order. As a reminder, this meeting of the Health and Human Services Board is a virtual public meeting and is being recorded. So our first item of business is to review the board agenda and accept it. A note is that the agenda was modified from the original one that was sent out earlier in the week to one that was sent out yesterday. So making sure that everybody has the current agenda available to them. And I will take a motion for acceptance of the current agenda that was sent out yesterday, the revised agenda.
So moved.
Motion to,
Thank you, Martha, and I'll take that as a second, Jennifer. Thank you. All in favor?
aye.
Signs of hands. Any opposed? All right. The revised agenda is accepted. Thank you very much. In accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearance of conflict on any of the discussion matters that we have. So I appreciate you alerting to us if that applies to you. Our next item of business is a review of and acceptance of the October 25 board minutes. This also had a correction. The ones that were sent out somehow had a deletion and part of the end of the discussion. A new revised corrected version of these minutes was recently sent out in the last 30 minutes, which I have reviewed and I feel are more accurate to what was discussed. So if you need a moment to review that updated, corrected version of the minutes, please do so now, and then I'll accept any motion for approval.
Move to accept the changes.
Thank you, Martha. Can I get a second to accept the revised minutes that were sent out 30 minutes ago? Thank you, Linda. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. And any opposed? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as sent today. Thank you very much. All right. Our next item of business are our program committee's report outs, and we will start with the community opportunity subgroup with Martha Salyers.
Hello, everyone. Happy November. And I'm going to start with Philip's good news because the last month when we met, everyone was extremely worried about the effects of and the duration of the government shutdown, and how that was going to influence people's ability to eat, have shelter and heat and so on until it was done. So the good news is that there was no discontinuity in SNAP benefits. And actually, even better news is that federally, SNAP has been funded through September of 26, so that any impending shutdowns, which might start happening in January again, are not going to affect people's ability to get their SNAP benefits. Other good news, there is some continuity with the emergency energy funding, although there are some uh, uh, there are some gaps that might happen. We don't know that for sure, but so far, a lot of people are going to be getting their emergency energy benefits starting in December and in January. It, I could go into a lot of detail, but certainly not as well as Philip could about all the ins and outs of SNAP and Medicaid, and what is impending for them. Just there's going to be a lot of there are going to be a lot of changes having to do with the with the work requirements. About 1,800 people on SNAP in Buncombe County out of 29,000, which is about 7%, are going to be affected by the work requirements for SNAP. So that's going to take some administrative work and a lot of working with the public on what that actually means. It's as you probably already know, it's an 80-hour requirement per month for beneficiaries that is looming. Fortunately, it will take effect when people do their next re-up of which happens every 6 months, their recertification, so that the work will be staggered for the Buncombe County staff. Another upside is that even if people with children who are getting benefits for their children and themselves, even if the parents do not meet the requirement, they will still get the benefits for their children. This is for SNAP. Medicaid's another kettle of fish, and people really don't know what's impending for that, although the work requirement adds its complexities. More information is forthcoming. Some good things that happened in our meeting were some ideas that came up to help with the going through these changes. Dr. Linnell suggested in working with Buncombe County Communications to create materials and applications for the public to help them figure out which end is up with this, what they have to do when. And so Philip is going to follow up on that. Another one was working on some kind of a Buncombe volunteer opportunities force, because even though there's a plethora of volunteer opportunities and operations in Buncombe County, this is the new requirements for SNAP and Medicaid work requirements are going to require more and different work, both on the part of the county and on the part of the entities involved. There was another one, but I can't. Can someone help me with the third one? There was a third one. Oh, one good thing is that Philip is going to be working with the state to improve NC Fast. I think this is a real feather in the cap of Buncombe County that he's going to be working on this state level project, and any improvement in NC Fast is going to help our clients. Did anybody have anything to add, Philip, or any other members of the committee?
I think that's it.
Thank you then.
Thank you, Martha. Any questions or other comments from the working group or the rest of the board?
One more comment, big ups for Philip and his staff to be making their way through this and serving our clients and our population as well as they always have.
Excellent. Echo that. Thank you, Martha. Move on to our next committee report from Community Safety. Elizabeth, are you on?
Elizabeth's not here
She's
today.
not here. Okay.
Rebecca,
then are you taking it?
Sure. So we actually did not meet today. There were several of our group members that were missing, but if it's okay, I'd be happy to give just some quick updates on things that the board has been aware of around community safety and just sharing a little bit of information. I wanted to share some additional good news when it comes to being able to meet people's basic needs in our community. The state reached out and offered to support Buncombe County with an additional $200,000 in essential services funding, which is funding that was designated after Hurricane Helene for the 27 counties impacted by the hurricane, but specifically for families that are involved with Child Protective Services or Adult Protective Services. And to date, we've actually spent over $1 million that were designated in this way to support services and basic needs for our community members. We were awarded an additional $200,000 that our commissioners approved for us to be able to spend. 150,000 of those will go directly to paying rent, utilities, transportation needs, food needs, anything that social workers go out in the field. They meet with the family and they assess this family is in need of whatever it is to help support them in maintaining the safety of their children, or to be able to help an older or disabled adult maintain their place of residence or anything like that. So really exciting that we're going to be able to use that additional 150,000 directly toward those clients' needs. Kind of social determinants of health is maybe a good way to put it. Wanted to just give an update on CFSP rollout, the Child and Family Specialty Plan that I presented on last month, I think. It is going live December 1st. So we are just really in the weeds with trying to make sure that everything is the way that it needs to be, so that the information transitions from VIA over to Healthy Blue Care Together, and so that our children and young adults are ready to go as of 12/1 in receiving the care management services that they need to be successful. We've had initial, what they're calling initial meetings on about 3/4 of our kids and young adults so far. And we have a couple more days worth of meetings where we're staffing those cases with Healthy Blue Care Together. We're also comparing a lot of lists and just making sure all the data is accurate for that kind of transition to occur. So that is a heavy lift right now, and we're all working together, and I appreciate Philip's team too, because it is a collaboration across teams. And then last, I just want to highlight our Holiday Wishes program for our foster youth and adults. We do this every year. It kind of has transformed a little bit each year, just as we've learned and the technology has grown and how we go about doing the wishes. But the bottom line is we make sure that all of our kids in foster care and young adults, as well as our older adults that work with our APS folks, that they receive some type of gift for the holidays, and we try to make sure it's based on their wishes, what they would like to have. And our team volunteered at a barbecue festival 2 weekends ago, and we made over $20,000. So that was amazing. In partnership with our nonprofit helping at-risk kids, HARK. We were able to raise that money to put towards this. And if it's okay, I'm going to just put a link to the wish lists in the chat. And that way, if anybody's interested in sponsoring, you're welcome to do that. That's it for me.
That's wonderful, Rebecca. And thank you for sharing that link for everyone, including the public, to participate. So thank you. That is really, really good report. Any comments, questions for Rebecca? All right. Moving on to our third subcommittee, Community Health. Savannah?
Hey, so first we talked about flu season. We are just now starting the flu season. Numbers are just starting to go up. We're nowhere like heading towards a surge or anything. So please, everyone, if you haven't gotten your flu shot yet, please do so. There's time. Other counties that are a little bit ahead of us are showing that this might be a potentially severe flu season. So even more important this year. The next thing we discussed is the CDC website, how it is increasingly displaying false information. It's really hard to tell what to trust, what not to trust. So the recommendation at this point is to avoid the CDC information and instead refer to your state resources on data and any professional associations such as the American Academy of Pediatrics. Next, we talked about some family resources for people, well, for all of us that were affected by Halloween. There's Renew and See housing program, and Ellis is going to put a link to that in the link. And there's also a program through VIA, Western North Carolina Thrive, and it has a lot of free activities for family members. So you can get on the website and look through all the activities. There's summer camps for kids, really, really great resources. We're also really grateful to a nurses organization that came called Debriefing the Front Line, and they served lunch for the entire health staff, which was like 150 people. So we were very grateful for them for coming because we're very grateful for our HHS staff that's working so hard. So it's nice to be recognized. In the coming months, we are going to be focusing on environmental health, such as like the safety requirements around the restaurants reopening, and we're going to have people come and talk to us and educate us. Any questions?
Thank you, Savannah. Just one clarification on the statement around the reliability of the CDC information. Was that statement based on focused on vaccine recommendations only, or are we making a statement about the entire CDC website to start to avoid?
I do think there were some concerns about environmental safety information as well. So it is just kind of hard to know.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify whether it was just a specific issue or if we're kind of in suspect for all of it.
I'll
Yeah.
say the
So-
conversation was really, you may or may not have seen the statement on autism and vaccines that was put
Mhm.
on the CDC's website. The conversation did start there. And then we also were referencing Caitlin Dedalina, your local epidemiologist, who puts out a newsletter. And today she had one around this topic, and she suggested that people may want to avoid it for things like vaccines, reproductive health, environmental stuff. She did feel like the specific data that comes from states, such as wastewater monitoring, is still probably okay, but really sort of making sure people are aware there are a lot of good professional organizations out there with very reputable science-based information.
Great. Thank you for that clarification. Martha?
Yeah, I just want to echo this is heartbreaking for me, having worked in public health for so long, and to say that you can't trust CDC, but the trouble is if they put up one piece of misinformation, we really can't trust anything anymore, because who can monitor what's been changed and what hasn't been changed? And it absolutely breaks my heart. And also the trouble with state information is it depends on the state. There are some states, like we are very lucky to live in a state with great public health data and great public health epidemiology, but some states are not so lucky. So take everything you read from other states with a grain of salt, but go North Carolina. And I get that same newsletter, and I think she's spot on that it's really sad. We just can't do it anymore.
So that's thank you for that clarification. And Ellis, do you think it would be helpful just to kind of make more available the sites that we in Buncombe County believe are the best sites to get certain pieces of information?
Yeah, we've gone to a new platform for our internet, and we're in the process of being trained in departments to be able to sort of edit our own sites. And yes, we definitely will put up
That would
different.
be helpful, saying
Professional.
these are the kind of sites to get this kind of information that we recommend.
Yeah.
I think that would be helpful. I think that's appropriate for us to do for our community. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the community health work group? Thank you, Savannah and Ellis. All right. So we're moving right along. I'm going to turn it over to David for an update on SNAP and the shutdown and our response.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So certainly the information that was shared earlier is correct. One of the things that we want to celebrate, I believe, or at least be grateful for, thankful for, as we head into this next week, is that the federal government did reopen. And also, as part of that reopening, as was mentioned, U.S. Department of Agriculture is stably funded through September 30th of 2026. So what that means is our WIC programs, our LEAP energy programs, SNAP benefit recipients, all of those sorts of components of our assistance to families in Buncombe County, that is all funded by U.S. Department of Agriculture. And so for that agency to be stably funded through September means that those programs, as far as we can tell, will be stably operational as well through September of 2026 based on the current funding. So that's all good, because I think the main thing that most families need is stability. Stability of awareness that their income is going to be the same, or that they know what their income is, or what their food budgets are, and things like that. So we now can take what was an arena of chaos and make it more of an arena of stability for folks, and I think that's really helpful. The other thing I just want to give you a report about and truly celebrate is that, as you may remember, on October 29th, heading to as the shutdown was heading in toward the end of October, and we had concerns about what was going to happen with SNAP benefits and other things, Buncombe County and Mana Food Bank and Bonnie and Soul and other partners, including ABCCM and many others, decided to collaborate on a community-wide food drive. And part of what we wanted to do was try to mitigate the harms of the federal government shutdown and increase the supply of food into our social safety net food bank partners. And the primary mechanism we wanted to focus on was increasing donations to Mana, because Mana is a hub, a distribution hub for some 240 partners in Western North Carolina. And if we could increase the amount of food supply available to them, then we could multiply the opportunities to help families that were potentially at risk due to their SNAP benefits being disrupted. But also, we recognize that not everybody in the community who needs help is a SNAP recipient. There are others as well. So this food drive has been phenomenally successful, more successful than it would have been possible for me to imagine. As of this morning, Mana reports that 14,500 pounds of food has been donated. That is enough food to generate 11,830 meals in our community. And we are winding down this weekend with donations. So today, tomorrow, kind of be the last 2 days that we're inviting the community to bring food to our library sites. But we are, scheduling with partners to have everything picked up, make sure everything is in the pantries and available for distribution as we head into Thanksgiving. Over the next few days, we'll be closing this entire effort down. But I just simply could not be more grateful for the generosity of the people in Buncombe County for what they've all done to help our neighbors. So I'm proud that we stood together to try to mitigate these harms. And I'm pleased to report that I think we have done all that we can do. So as far as the SNAP shutdown and the food drive, that's what I wanted to focus on. If it's okay, Dan, I'll just go ahead and do the rest of my report.
Yeah, just before you do, I just want to echo, how that response, it's just again a reflection of our community, how we do respond to the needs, and the role that the county plays in crisis for our community. And thank you, David, and your entire team for leading that effort. And it really is a testimony to the type of community we live in and who we represent. So that is really, really awesome. Thank you.
See, Martha,
Question from Martha.
I just wanted to echo what you just said, Dan, and you know, it's a huge success, the food drive. Also, Philip noted that Manna will take cash contributions. You don't have to bring just food. So if you're so disposed to until the end of this month, you can contribute directly to Manna as part of the partnership.
Thank you, Martha.
And I think I want to also just help people understand a couple things, because the food banks around the country also rely on funding from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And so during the federal government shutdown, they were not getting the money that they needed to be able to generate orders for, in the future, because they have to buy in advance or place orders in advance to stay stocked logistically. And so what the food drive has been able to do is stand in the gap. And now that the funding has resumed, instead of having empty shelves that they have not been able to refill or schedule to have refilled, the shelves are not empty, flow of money is restored, and the new orders going into the future can now keep things going instead of us seeing a massive crater in available resources right at the critical time of the holidays. So, this has really been important, what we just did. And it prevents disasters that would have otherwise occurred in January. And so we've been able to stave that off as well. Yeah, Savannah.
So even if the government shuts down again in January, we still should be funded?
As far as the programs that are funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which includes WIC and SNAP and the funding to food banks, all of that would not be disrupted because their funding bills have been passed.
Cool. Thank you.
And the energy program.
Right. And the energy program as well, LEAP. And anybody right now, I mean, LEAP funding has not been fully restored in terms of it operating smoothly yet, but the applications deadline, or the applications don't open up for a bit still. And the expectation is that by the time it's appropriate for people in the general public who need assistance to apply for those dollars, that everything will be restored. I don't think I said that very elegantly, but Philip, did I say anything wrong?
No, that'd be correct. I mean, generally, energy is not available to the general public till January 1st, and we hope that USDA will allocate dollars to the state prior to that.
Right. So that is our expectation. And Savannah, your hand is still up. I don't know if that's because you have a new question or it's still up. Okay, cool.
Any other questions before David goes on to his director's report? All right, back to you.
And really, I mean, that has been the biggest thing. The stuff that we were just discussing has been the biggest thing. But we didn't mention in earlier, I don't believe, that we are actually in the middle of 2 vaccine preventable disease outbreaks right now in Buncombe County. So we have a large pertussis situation that is being managed by the health department. We also have a varicella outbreak that they're managing. And so all of the energy in the environment, just in the ecosphere, the information ecosphere, that weakens people's confidence in and willingness to vaccinate their children. We are seeing the real world impacts of that as certain types of vaccine preventable diseases continue to flare up and cause outbreaks. A lot of activity going on. So I just want to recognize the efforts of our communicable disease team as they manage that. And just report that in November, I also did go to the UNC School of Government and received training, legal basics for Department of Social Services directors. We have a number of efforts going on in Rebecca's area right now, in addition to Healthy Care Blue Together transition to Blue Cross Blue Shield for our LME, but we also have the continued implementation of Path NC, platform changes with the state. We've got a lot of policy changes that have come down as a result of session law that came out of the General Assembly that impact foster care, that impact just adult protective services, child protective services work in the state. So there's a lot going on right now in the Department of Health and Human Services, but I just want you to know that our teams across the board in each of our divisions have really maintained a very high level of morale, a very high level of focus on the mission, the various missions, and that I feel very good about where we sit as we wrap up 2025. And that for my part, as I have before, I'll just say I hope all of you have a happy Thanksgiving. And I look forward to seeing you in person in December.
Thank you, David. And that just kind of highlights what we talked about earlier, is the importance of getting good information, resources out to people around vaccines and other health-related issues. So if we're in the midst of two outbreaks of vaccine preventable illnesses, which we've had in the past, pertussis and varicella are not new to us, but measles will be, and that seems to be very close to us right now. And so just kind of highlighting the good work that you guys are doing, but the importance of communication campaigns to reliable information sources are really, really important. So whatever the board can be doing to support those activities, please let us know. All right, any other questions for David? All right, so moving on to the chairperson's report. It's my pleasure. Out of the discussions of last board meeting and the executive committee meeting, I am asking our team to make a motion to go into closed session. So Kurt, please lead us in that.
Sure. So the motion would be that I move that the Buncombe County Health and Human Service Board go into closed session for the following reason: to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged, to receive legal advice regarding legal standards for evaluating potential board members. There will be no formal action taken at this time. The statutory authority is contained in North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11, subparagraph A3.
Thank you, Kurt. Can I make that motion and have a second, or does somebody else make that
anybody
motion?
can.
So I will make that motion as stated by Kurt, and I'm asking for a second.
This is Linda. I'll second.
Thank you, Linda. So we will be going to closed session. What that means
You need to hold the vote. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. All in favor of going into closed session as stated, please raise hands. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, hearing none, we will go into closed session. What that means is that only board members, including David as our Health and Human Services Director, our attorney, Kurt Euler, and Krista as our administrative liaison, will be present in this meeting. So I need verification that when that happens.
your other attorney too, Suzanne
Oh.
Abbott will also be
Okay.
coming into the closed session too.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
And the other thing you want to clarify, just in case there's anybody from the public who's watching this meeting, we will return after we're done with our closed session. We will return back to the regular meeting to continue it till it's at.
Thank
Oh,
you.
and also when we're going into closed session, can we please have Sybil Tate?
Yes, we can have Sybil Tate.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Johanna. I just need to end the YouTube live stream, so let me know when you're ready and I'll end it. And I'll make David the host so I can leave as well.
Thank you. Go ahead.